Hi everyone and welcome! Today we're going to be talking about a really wonderful mystery novel, Death Cloud by Andrew Lane. So this video is for people who are reading Death Cloud as you're hitting about chapter 12. So if you're not up through chapter 12, don't watch this video. No, like seriously, there are massive spoilers ahead. Please don't watch this video if you have not read until the end of chapter 12 in Death Cloud. One of the characters in this story that causes a lot of questions is Amyus Crowe. So we know that Amyus comes to us from Albuquerque, New Mexico. There's a couple of things that are important for us Americans to keep in mind during this time. New Mexico at this point was a territory. It wasn't a full state. It's not like we're thinking of it now. This is more going to be during the stereotypical time period of like cowboys and the Wild West. Like that's more the time period that we're hanging out in. And in England, it wasn't cowboys and it wasn't Wild West, obviously, because it's England and they don't have the Wild West like we do. But so what we know is Amyus Crowe comes to England and we know he has a shady past. His daughter tells us little bits and pieces, but in chapter 12 is where we really start getting hints from Amyus himself. So what we know is that Amyus's job in New Mexico, back home in the U.S., was to hunt down criminals, to hunt down people who had escaped justice, whatever that may have been. We need to do a little bit of a history check. So what happened during this time period is that the territories, because they weren't full states, didn't have as many rules and laws or as many police officers as the states did. They just didn't have as many options. People were spread out. They didn't have the ways of keeping law and order like we do in more properly civilized places. Notice that I put properly civilized in quotation marks. The debate of what it means to be civilized is a totally separate conversation that we can have on another day. But what we do know is that when people committed crimes, and I'm talking big crimes, I'm not talking like, oh, he picked up a chapstick at the mall. No, I'm talking like murdered people, robbing banks, like big crimes. It was much easier for these people to go out and hide in the wilderness. There was nothing there. These people would go out into the mountains and they would hide for months, weeks on end, and then they'd show back up, commit another crime, and disappear again. And so what happened is that there were people who would get hired to go find those people. Basically think like, I'm going to put my nerd on. So you know in The Mandalorian when he's picking up bounty pucks and he's going after people? That's basically what we're talking about. We're talking about Wild West bounty hunters that would go out and find these people. We know from things that Virginia has said and things that Amyus have said that many of the people he ended up hunting ended up dead. And this is a really tricky thing for Sherlock to think about because Sherlock is a kid. He's got a very firm view of what is right and what is wrong. You don't kill other people. But Amyus's existence makes Sherlock start thinking about, well, if it's a really bad person that's hurting other people, is it worth it? Now, whether you believe it's worth it or not is a whole separate conversation, and one that I encourage you to have with your parents, not me, because that boils down to the death penalty debate. And I love you guys, but I am a public school teacher. I am not a politician. I don't want to be a politician. I'm not getting involved. Have that conversation with your families. Sherlock is listening to Amyus in chapter 12 in Death Cloud talking about hunting animals and the look they get in their eye and avoiding eye contact and blending in. These are not things that Amyus is talking about, hunting animals. Animals is a substitute here. It's a symbol. So we talk a lot about symbolism in reading class and language arts because symbolism is really tricky to start finding if you're not used to looking for it. I'm going to tell you right now, that's a symbol. We're not talking about animals there. Amyus is talking about the bounties that he's hunted down. Okay, you know, that's stressful, but whatever, got it, understood. Amyus has hunted people. Cool. Yeah, that's stressful to think about. I'm not totally sure I'm comfortable with that. That stresses me out. And then Sherlock and Maddie are supposed to follow his directions to hunt other people down? That's, like, mind-blowing as a kid. Like, what would you do if an adult just looked at you and was like, we're going to hunt these guys down? Like, I get that Sherlock and Maddie wanted to find the people with the cloud and blah, blah, blah. But that's a big thing to take on. And for Amos to be like, yeah, I'll bring these kids with me, no big deal. What? What? Now I'm questioning if Amos is a responsible adult or not. I don't know. What do you think? Drop it in the comments below. Is Amos responsible or not? Because I am not convinced. I am very unsure at this moment. I would not be letting my kid be alone with Amos if that's what he's taking them to do. And then Amos tells Maddie and Sherlock to get in a fight so that they blend in. Don't get me wrong. I've been a social chameleon plenty of times. I could put on a black lacy top and like a black skirt and put on so much eyeliner. And I could do like real dark lipstick. That would change my entire vibe, right? Well, Sherlock and Maddie are trying to change their vibe. Now, Maddie has the vibe. Maddie is a homeless kid just hanging around. Sherlock's not, and they need Sherlock to look the part. So, again, we see Amos really thinking about this because he's trying to keep the boys safe while they do this. Speaking of boys versus girls, in their trip to London, Amos tells his daughter that she is not allowed to go with them because it is not safe for a girl to be in that part of town. Where my feminists at? No, I'm an independent woman who don't need no man. But, and I'm just going to drop some truth bombs. You know how I feel about telling the truth. There is a difference between being a proud, independent woman who don't need no man and being a smart woman. And now, what I'm going to say next may get me in a little bit of trouble. But there are some places that it's not smart to go alone. I'm going to tell you, I have been all over. I have been to all sorts of different places, different countries. I have yet to find some place that I am scared to be in. There are places I'm scared to be alone because I don't know the people, I don't know the community, I don't know where's safe and where's not. That's just the truth. When people talk about bad neighborhoods, it's not always that they're bad neighborhoods. It's just that they're unfamiliar neighborhoods that have rules. Any of you that live in those sorts of neighborhoods, you know the ones I'm talking about. You know where it's safe to be and where it's not, but an outsider doesn't. So, yes, Amos says it's not safe for a girl to be down there. He says that because it's harder for a girl in that area to blend in. Now, notice that when Virginia shows up, what has she done? She's taken that factor out of the equation, so she's safer. So that she blends in, so that she's becoming a social chameleon. It just took more effort on her part because she was even further away from what blended in that area. I know this is a pretty long video and there was a lot to be thrown in there, but I know that if we were in class face-to-face, these are the kind of discussions we'd be having about this chapter. But we're not there, which stinks, and I miss you guys. But I hope this video helps give you some clarity, and I really hope that you use the discussion comments below to kind of continue these conversations, because I think you guys have a lot of strong opinions on this, and I really hope that you're able to kind of have some conversations about that. Just as a reminder, if you're going to have a conversation about it, please be respectful of other people's opinions. Just because they don't agree with you does not mean they're totally wrong. As always, guys, be brilliant, and I'll talk to you soon.